restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome in. We're about ready to begin a Wednesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Here we go. Well, it does not make up for him being an accessory to a double murder, but at least Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Holbrook may be getting the message that his wokeness is not popular in Central Ohio. The worst judge in Franklin County yesterday finally did the right thing on something, and that is to turn away the protests of the pro-trans agenda in the state of Ohio and allow the legislatively enacted, according to the Ohio Constitution, SAFE Act to go into effect. So you do not have to worry about boys playing girls' sports, invading girls' spaces, and I would imagine this might put some hospitals in the state of Ohio out of business, since they can no longer do trans surgeries on minors and can no longer prescribe puberty blockers to them. I hope it puts a lot of hospitals out of business, a lot of doctors out of business. House Bill 68, put forward by Gary Click, Jenna Powell, and others in the Ohio General Assembly. The law that Ohio Governor Mike DeWine vetoed, but was embarrassed and overridden by the General Assembly, the supermajority of Republicans in the House and in the Senate, is now law in the state of Ohio, immediately going into law. The protests against this law were loud and vociferous and stupid when it was being debated in the Ohio House, in the Ohio Senate, in the General Assembly. And then once the law became law, the argument from the American Civil Liberties Union and other nutcases was that, well, you can't do a law that does two things at once. What two things did this do? Well, it outlawed genital mutilation surgery, and it also kept women's sports and girls' sports for women and girls. The ACLU tried to do an end run and get the law delayed, but while Michael Holbrook issued a temporary injunction that delayed the law until there was a hearing in his court, and I thought he would certainly find a way to delay it further, he shocked me yesterday. Maybe the medication wore off from his hip replacement surgery, and he finally decided to do the right thing. Maybe he finally decided that the bad press that he got for allowing Devon Blair out on his own recognizance after being imprisoned in Northeast Ohio for domestic violence against a woman, after Devon Blair grabbed Brooke DeVinny by the hair, poked her in the belly with a knife, held that knife to her throat, forced her out into the street on a winter day with no clothes on, while domestically abusing her. And then after being released on his own recognizance, thanks to Michael Holbrook's feckless stewardship of his seat on the Franklin County Common Pleas Court, Devon Blair murdered both Brooke DeVinny and her unborn child. Maybe Michael Holbrook, and I sure hope this is the case, took so much heat from you, listeners to the Bruce Hooley Show, that he decided, man, I just want to be left alone. I want to be invisible. I want to stop being a robed crusader for wokeness in Central Ohio. And he finally decided to just butt the heck out. It certainly sounds like it, based upon his ruling. Here is what he said. He said that the law is allowed to go forward because courts typically proceed with a presumption of constitutionality based on the Ohio Supreme Court precedent that allows multifaceted laws so long as they deal with a common purpose. Yes. What is the common purpose? Common purpose is to, well, I don't know, take your pick. Let common sense rule. Let biology be biology. Not pay attention to crazed lunatic zealots. Or also maybe just the common purpose is to protect our children. Any one of those four could apply. In fact, all four of those apply. And so Michael Holbrook said, the law compels this court to conclude that the act contains a common purpose or relationship, namely the General Assembly's regulation of transgender individuals. No matter how abhorrent that may be to some, It is a legitimate subject for purposes of the single subject rule under the laws of the state of Ohio at this time. So Ohio finally joins an ever-growing list of states to realize this madness that is out there. This madness that is playing out on the stage of the Paris Olympics right before our very eyes right now, with two men who are boxing and guaranteed medals in their respective weight classes of the women's division of the boxing competition, which, when they medal, can also be known as the domestic violence division of the boxing competition at the Paris Olympics. Holbrook upheld the SAFE Act as a reasonable law related to Ohio's legitimate interest in protecting the health and safety of its citizens. That's all this has ever been about. This is not about denying the existence of gay people. It's not about denying the humanity of transgender people. It is one of a host of laws that we have to protect people against their worst inclinations. Why do we establish a blood alcohol limit of what, 0.08 in the state of Ohio, at which you cannot drink there or above? Why do we do that? For the protection of the citizenry, not just the people who are drunk, but the people who they might hit in their car while they are drunk. Why do we have any laws in the state of Ohio? Why do we have laws against assault and battery? Why do we have laws against anything that involves violence against others? To protect the citizenry. That is what the essence of law is to keep order in a society. And a lot of times order is related not just to the damage that is done by people when they do whatever the heck they want to do, but it is also compassionate and kind to protect those people from doing damage to themselves. And the statistics are vast, citing just one being the fact that the suicide rate among kids suffering from gender dysphoria is astronomically higher than those who do not claim to suffer from that made-up mind virus. Okay? And you can say all you want to, trans activists, Maria Bruno at Equality Ohio and other woke organizations, that, oh, they only commit suicide and they're only depressed because you're denying them the ability to flourish in who they really are. No, it's not true. It's absolutely untrue. It is impossible for a human being to live at peace with themselves when they are living apart from the plan that God has ordained for their life. And you say, well, I don't believe in God. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that he created you, that he created you with a divine purpose in mind, that he created you to flourish, that he created you to be in communion with him. And you see signs of it all throughout our society, where dysfunction and depression and hopelessness and chaos reign in the lives of people who aren't trans, who aren't gay, who aren't whatever. It's just, they're just not following God's design for their life. You know, it's always interesting. The people who have never, ever professed a faith are the experts on this. Those of us who have lived apart from the plan God has established for our life, and then have been favored with someone who intervened in their life, or been, yes, I'll say it, blessed with circumstances that force you to confront the things in your life that are not in accordance with God's plan, and then you make those changes, also called repentance. We've seen both sides of the aisle, and our way is vastly, vastly preferable, vastly, vastly better. It's always the people on the other side of an issue who have never experienced the alternative, who have never experienced the peace, the contentment, the patience, the kindness, the gentleness, the love of God. They're always the ones who tell us we're wrong. We're not wrong, because God is not wrong. He does not make mistakes in how he creates people. He does not put you in the wrong body. He would not punish people that way. And so while I doubt Michael Holbrook shares the same faith that I do, it is good that at least in this instance, this very rare instance in his judicial reign on the Franklin County bench, He has seen the light of truth, because that is the only path forward in our society. If we stop portraying things that are categorically untrue as true. We see it all throughout our world. We're seeing it play out in our presidential election right now. We're seeing lies told every single day in our media about the southern border, about Joe Biden being George Washington. I mean, we have become a post-truth society. And while we may have a viewpoint that our country is impregnable and impenetrable and unconquerable, they thought the same thing in Rome. They thought the same thing in many cultures that for a while sat literally and figuratively on top of the world. Longer than we have. They tumbled, and until we recapture truth, we are at peril as well.
High this afternoon, 81. Partly cloudy, humid tonight, and a low 69. Clouds, humid, and warmer for tomorrow, the high 90. And then cloudy and humid tomorrow night, low 71. Clouds and sun, another humid day Friday, the high 86. On Saturday, sunny to partly cloudy, a bit less humid, the high 76. Sunny, terrific on Sunday, the high Sunday afternoon, 77. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
America, our military is sacrificing for our freedom. Please take time to remember our men and women fighting overseas. This salute is courtesy of Noble Automotive, where they get the job done right the first time. Call 614-725-5708, 614-725-5708, or stop by 4524 Q Road in Columbus. That's Noble Automotive, reminding everyone that freedom isn't free. It's paid for by our military.
One service of intuitive needs? It's time to get the kitchen of your dreams. Update, upgrade, uplift with Kitchen Tune-Up. It's amazing what a cabinet refacing will do to liven up your space. In and out in just 1 week with no demo. And keep in mind, if you're thinking of selling, a gorgeous kitchen can significantly increase your home's value. 0% financing is available right off Wilson Bridge Road in Burlington. Go to kitchentune-up.com for a free in-home estimate. Update, upgrade, uplift with Kitchen Tune-Up.
Caribbean is calling. Dennis Prager here. Join me on an unforgettable cruise to the Caribbean this November. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise to the Viking Islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Turks and Caicos, and much more. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself with riveting shows and breathtaking views. We'll be joined by special guest Sean McDowell, and we'll both share fresh insights, current events, discuss happiness and our future in America in light of the election. November 29th to December 8th of this year. Secure your spot today by calling 855-565-5519 or online at pragercruise.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
One woman in the grocery store, she looked at me in the face and she said, "You know, you look just like that girl on that Balance of Nature commercial." I said, "Yeah, it's me." So she said, "Is it really that good?" I said, "Yes, it is. Try it." I'm Diane. I'm still gardening and I'm still taking Balance of Nature. I'm staying with it. It's working. I love life. I thank God for it every day. And I want to make sure I stay around as long as I can. Since my last interview, so many people have asked me, "Do you really take that?" Yes, I'm not making this up. It's real. It's a real deal.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off with your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code Mike G.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to ParthianPodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
Love to help you if you need new flooring in your home. If you're even thinking about it, you're not obligated to anything. If you go to brucehooley.com and click the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner of the page, I'll come out to your house. We'll get to know each other. I'll meet you, we'll measure your space, let you know what your options are, whether you want carpet or whether you want luxury vinyl plank that looks like wood or tile and performs even better, because hardwood scratches, LVP will not, unless you take an axe to it, which I hope you don't, but it's almost indestructible. It is a lovely, lovely product. And I would love to get the information in front of you so that you can evaluate. One of the things that I always tell people is don't wait to beautify your home until you're ready to sell it. Why would you do that favor for someone who's going to buy it? Why wouldn't you put it in your own home and enjoy it? The investment you have made in your home is one that you will always get back on the back end. So go to brucehooley.com, click flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page, brucehooley.com, flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. We will have at noon today a guest on our program, Gary Click, the sponsor of the SAFE Act, in tandem with Jenna Powell, who Gary merged the No Transgender Surgeries, No Puberty Blockers for Minors, his bill, with Jenna Powell's Save Women's Sports Act bill, and it became the SAFE Act, and it passed the Ohio General Assembly, and then Governor DeWine vetoed it, and then the Senate and the House in Ohio said, no, sorry, little Mike, you're going to go over your head, literally and figuratively. And it became law. Then the ACLU protested. None of it caught Gary Click by surprise. And I'll be interested to know when we talk to Gary at 12:05 if he thinks that this is the end of it. The ACLU says it's going to file an appeal. Judge Michael Holbrook yesterday, Franklin County Common Pleas Court, trying to redeem himself from being the worst judge in Franklin County. He's got a ways to go yet. But at least he saw that the ACLU's complaint against the law was foolhardy. I wish this was something we could enjoy for more than a day, but the signs are all around us that just when we get caught up in the victory of that, we also have to realize that there is a real danger to the people of the state of Ohio, because yesterday, while Holbrook was ruling correctly in the case of the SAFE Act, we had the first day of legalized marijuana sales in the state of Ohio. Ooh, boy. And they could not wait to get their weed. One customer outside a pothead shop in Cincinnati slept in his car. Maybe that's something he does every night. I don't know. But he slept in his car outside the store and arrived precisely in time to open up and get his buzz on. 98 dispensaries received their license Tuesday, which by my count is more than one per county, since we have 88 counties in the state of Ohio. So you won't have to drive across the state line to Michigan, but apparently you will have to pay more for your weed in Ohio than you do in Michigan, because they have allowed weed shops to proliferate all over the state of Michigan. Of course, they have. Gretchen Whitmer is the governor. She is a Democrat. And so she is a disaster. The shop in Cincinnati where the dude camped out overnight had 1,000 customers. And one of the big pot backers, spokesman by the name of Jason Erks, said, what we saw today is just how big the demand is. With no marketing and no ramp-up period, to have these kinds of numbers is truly unprecedented, and they will only go up from here. Well, I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that. So what is the impact on Ohio? Oh, it's going to be great for the economy, Bruce. It's going to be fantastic. Really? Okay. When I think of recreational marijuana greenlit by the state, and people can go in and sample different mushrooms and all different gummies and all kinds of things, I think of the state of Colorado. So I just went to our old friend Google, and I put in crime statistics since legalization of marijuana in Colorado. And I came up with a study that says the impact of legalization of marijuana in Colorado. And I thought, this is a long PDF, 18 pages, probably not going to get to the point right away. And I was wrong, because here on the first page, it says, since recreational marijuana was legalized, marijuana-related traffic deaths increased 151% in the state of Colorado. Now, okay, so this has been like 11 years. There's more people in Colorado. How have other traffic deaths increased? Because, you get more people, you get more cars, you get more speeding, you get more reckless driving, you get more traffic deaths. All Colorado traffic deaths increased 35%. So by my count, that's about a 5 times increase in traffic deaths in Colorado related to marijuana. Since recreational marijuana was legalized, traffic deaths involving drivers who tested positive for marijuana more than doubled. The percentage of Colorado traffic deaths that were marijuana related increased from 11% to 21% from 2013 to 2017. So the latest numbers this study has is from 2017. It climbed. It almost doubled in 4 years. At that rate, is that going to be good for the people of the state of Ohio? I just won't drive, Bruce. I'll avoid all the consequences. Okay, will you? Marijuana tax revenue. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Marijuana tax revenue in Colorado represented approximately 0.9% of Colorado's budget. 0.9%. Oh, you mean they lied to me about the windfall that it's going to be for the state coffers? Shocking, isn't it? You can't trust people who are high on marijuana. I know, you're shocked like I am. Violent crime increased 18.6% in Colorado since the legalization of marijuana. And property crime, it's just, knocking down your mailbox, beating in your front door, doing whatever. Property crime increased 8.3%. So I love how they say that, like, smoking marijuana is a victimless crime. And I got a litany of stories here. Let's just click on one of them. Colorado Springs Gazette, guest column, Colorado's crime wave and marijuana policies. First sentence, Coloradans' concerns about public safety are growing, and for good reason. Startling increases in crime from 2011 to 2020. A 35% jump in violent crime. Whoops, the other story said 8%. And a historic rise in property crime. Amid the clamor for solutions, we shouldn't forget about marijuana's contribution to this mess. May seem obvious at first, but we should not forget the grandiose promises we were offered almost a decade ago by advocates of legalization. So if you want to be Nostradamus to your neighbors, you can just go Google Colorado and crime, and you can lay all these stats on them today, because what is happening out west is what will happen here. It is inarguable that this is just a further degradation of our society. And then when I think about this radical presidential ticket of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I think America's not going to go for that. America's not going to go for two avowed leftists. The guy who allowed George Floyd riots to burn down Minneapolis, the guy who says that one man's socialism is just another man's neighborliness. And then I think about, well, here in Ohio, we now have, over the past couple of years, ballot initiatives that have allowed abortion at any point. We've legalized marijuana. We've legalized gambling. And we've got a lot of people who push back against trying to protect kids from sexual mutilation surgeries and puberty blockers. You sure we're going to win this election?
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. The storm called Debbie left a real mess in parts of the South, slammed by the storm, lingering off the coast of South Carolina now. Tropical storm posing a major flooding threat. Forecasters expect it to move inland by late tonight before heading north. Parts of the New York City area cleaning up the aftermath of torrential rains that unleashed flash flooding. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz quickly attacking former President Trump after Walz was chosen by Kamala Harris to be her running mate. GOP vice presidential candidate Senator JD Vance calling Harris and Walz a great tag team. Today, that team is campaigning in Wisconsin and Michigan. And President Biden continuing to work diplomatic channels in search of a Gaza war ceasefire. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 372 points. NASDAQ ahead 258. More details, srnnews.com.
Financial Group is not an offer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I hope you'll join me every day, 11 to 1, for the Bruce Hooley Show. A lot of consequential issues that we have to talk about. It's a transformational time in our country. We want to understand all the issues. That's what
419.
you do. Bruce Hooley Show, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. I'm 990answer.com.
1413. Are you under the impression that a metal roof costs 2 or 3 times more than a shingle roof?
This is the QC Connects.
Okay, thanks.
I'm Dan Tone, owner of the Metal Roof Company. As your foremost metal roofing authority in Central Ohio, I can promise you it's the most inexpensive roof you'll ever buy because it's the last roof you'll ever buy. With lifetime warranties and a variety of financing options, give us a call at 721-ROOF, 721-ROOF, or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out
forward share
and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me on a cruise to the Caribbean this November. I'll share fresh insights about our world today, all while soaking up a tropical Caribbean paradise with you. Call 855-565-5519 or at pragercruise.com.
No one likes to be in pain. I was chagrined yesterday to hear that my daughter suffered an injury on her first day of soccer practice in college. It's not the kind of thing that she needs to go to QC Kinetics to have fixed, just a little ankle issue. But if you have pain, you know, man, it is not fun. It's elbow, hip, knee, back. Whatever it is, it keeps you from doing what you want to do. If you've been told you're bone on bone, you got arthritis, you can't get relief unless you're tethered to medicine and endless doctor visits. That is not necessarily true. You should go to QC Kinetics in Dublin or Gahanna, and you should check out what they can do for you by drawing your natural healing agents out of your blood, separating those agents to strategically inject them back into your body at strategic intervals, perhaps getting you out of pain. You will not know if it works for you until you consult with the specialists at QC Kinetics, which you can do by calling 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. One more time on the number, 380-208-4544, QC Kinetics. So while I hear more and more and more about Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who I think he used to, tell me he's a football coach. He's a hunter. I think it's very possible he played left wing for the Minnesota Wild. He's a left winger's left winger. modeled its policies in Minnesota out of the policies in California, which, work so well for that state. Let the city of Minneapolis burn for 3 days before he acquiesced to pleas from Minneapolis's mayor to call in the National Guard. And then afterward, Tim Walz, who had a position of fairly decent authority in the Minnesota National Guard, basically poo-pooed it and said that it was not a big deal because what do you get when you get the National Guard? You don't get a well-trained group of people. You get a 19-year-old cook. Now, this will come, I'm sure, as a great surprise to those of you who serve in Ohio's National Guard, who go away, once a month, and then for a couple of weeks of training. I don't think it's a weekend at the Hocking Hills where you're just out there fishing and hiking and, doing that stuff. But apparently Tim Walz does think that's what you get when you get the National Guard. But what is really interesting about the Walz candidacy is that his wife seems to be as radical or more radical than he is. Here she was talking about the George Floyd riots, which occurred on her husband's watch. And I get it. Everybody's sense of smell is different. But Gwen Walz seems to have a strange attraction to an odor that the rest of us would find unpleasant.
Those first days, when there were riots, I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open for as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening.
I don't know. I don't go in Bath and Body very often. Strikes me they have fragrances like, essence of lavender, vanilla extract. Maybe in Minnesota they have ode to burning rubber. Maybe that's what Gwen Walz puts in her diffuser every single night. She, what was it? Apocalypse Now? They said, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. She loves the smell of burning rubber. By the way, you do not have to look far to find her in the governor's offices in Minnesota. She is the first governor's wife in the history of Minnesota to have an office in the State House down the hall from her husband. Oh man, she'll fit right in with Jill Biden and Joe Biden, right? She'll fit right in with Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. She'll fit right in with Kamala and Mr. Toxic Masculinity lecturer Doug Emhoff, who impregnated his child's nanny. You want more from Tim Walz's wife, Gwen Walz? Here she is on criminal justice reform. Does she believe in second chances? Third chances? Unlimited chances? Judge for yourself.
And having a chance every day. Like, how many chances do you get? My answer to that is as many chances as you need, which doesn't really please those law and order people.
Oh, those pesky law and order people. The people who don't like being carjacked, the people who don't like being pistol whipped, the people who don't like having their front doors beaten down. They're just the pesky law and order people. They just don't get it, according to Gwen Walz. Now, there's an ample amount of opposition research on Tim Walz. That's too much of a layup. Here he is, the Minnesota governor, at the White House the day or two after the presidential debate. Did he see anything in the presidential debate about Joe Biden that might have clued himself into the fact that perhaps it was time for the Democrats to get a new nominee for which he is now the vice presidential choice? Oh, here was the question to Tim Walz about Joe Biden's fitness, and Governor Walz's response.
Is he fit for office? Do you think he's fit for office?
Yes, he's fit for office. The president has 3.5 years of delivering for us, going through what we've all been through. None of us are denying. Thursday night was a bad performance. It was a bad hit, if you will, on that. But it doesn't impact what I believe he's delivering.
Okay. The question was, is he fit for office going forward? Did you notice how he answered it? Now, he lied, of course, because there is not 3.5 years of grand accomplishments that prove anything about Joe Biden. And they certainly don't prove that he's fit for office going forward based upon what we saw on the stage on June the 27th. But this is what Democrats always do. They shift the argument. If they answer a question at all, which Kamala hasn't, what are we in, day 18? Day 18 of the Kamala Harris watch for her to answer questions launched at her in an unscripted format. Answers not on a teleprompter, press conference environment, not with helicopter blades whirring and engines rumbling so we can't hear a word you say, like your boss, Joe Biden, who the other day, while those helicopter blades were whirring and while that engine was rumbling, was asked about his signature accomplishment. He said he cured the economy and cured the climate. Wow. He must be a super devout Catholic. He has the ability, like Jesus on the rocky waters of the Red Sea, to calm. Joe Biden has cured the good. We don't have to worry about climate change anymore. We don't have to spend any more money on a Green New Deal. He's cured it. It's cured. Hallelujah. JD Vance today, however, was not ducking and dodging and dancing. JD Vance was in Detroit, and JD Vance was answering actual questions from actual live people and doing a great job of it, tying Kamala Harris to Joe Biden's border policies and how they impact the American people. Here's JD Vance this morning, an hour or so ago in Detroit.
Remember, when President Trump was in office, we deported illegal aliens. When President Trump was in office, we were building the border wall, which made it harder for illegal aliens to come here in the first place. When President Trump was president, we did not grant mass amnesty, which allowed illegal aliens to come into our communities, to harm our people, and then to stay here after the fact. We just need better leadership. It is so simple. And I can't believe that anyone would actually think that you should open up the American southern border to all of these criminals. You should let them commit crimes in our communities, and then you should refuse to deport them afterwards. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris has done.
This is where Vance and Trump need to be on this topic, on inflation, on domestic energy production and the difference in gas prices since Biden took office relative to what gas prices were when Trump was in office. These are the topics, not her sexual past, not her goofy husband lecturing us, even though it's fun to talk about. And there's a reason why the Democrats are playing stall with Kamala Harris. Here's Josh Holmes, former aide to Mitch McConnell, now host of the Ruthless podcast, on why the Democrats will not put her out there in front of anyone unscripted.
She doesn't have any real answers. I know that she's asked, and then they'll try to punt this as far into the fall as they can. Remember, we're only 30 days away from ballots going out in states like Pennsylvania. They're just trying to eat as much clock as they can because, look, after the last 8 years of watching Kamala Harris on a national stage, if she's asked a tough question, it more often than not results in a circular logic machine where consonants are not fitting in with verbs and adjectives. And I mean, it just doesn't sound like anybody that you'd ever relate to because she doesn't have any real answers. I know that they fear that. They want to try to stay away from that as much as they possibly can. I just don't think that it's totally possible for her not to have a high-profile gaffe at some point over the next 2 months because that's just who she is.
Circular logic machine. Does he not understand how eloquent she is? How carefully crafted her word salads are? We must all work together to stay together and be together as we work together to stay together and work together. I think her brilliance is lost on Josh Holmes.
Clouds and some sun, cooler but humid. Our high this afternoon, 81. Partly cloudy, humid tonight, and a low 69. Clouds, humid, and warmer for tomorrow, the high 90. And then cloudy and humid tomorrow night, low 71. Clouds and sun, another humid day Friday, the high 86. On Saturday, sunny to partly cloudy, a bit less humid, the high 76. Sunny, terrific on Sunday, the high Sunday afternoon, 77. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes.
You need to get to go. I need to be able to get where you need to go.
The significance of the passage of time.
Hi, you subhuman cunt. Hi, you subhuman cunt. You retarded monkey piece of fucking shit. Just wanted to let you know that your anti-trans children healthcare bill is going to kill trans children. Just wanted to let you know that when they commit suicide, you will be the reason they do it. You are a cunt, a bastard, and a rapscallion piece of fucking trash. You are a subhuman degenerate whose hands will be stained with the blood of the trans children you killed! You are a murderer! Fuck you!
Make our programming possible. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some.
You are a murderer! Fuck yeah! Yeah!
Hi, you subhuman cunt. Cunt. You retarded monkey piece of fucking shit. Fucking shit. Just wanted to let you know that your anti-trans children healthcare bill is going to kill trans children. Just wanted to let you know that when they commit suicide, you will be the reason they do it.
You're familiar with the concept of an outlet store? I know you are. You're familiar with the concept of an online store? I know you are. So why wouldn't you take advantage of the opportunity to buy everything you're already buying at big box stores that take your money and give to woke causes? Why would you not instead buy those things like mouthwash, toothpaste, cleaning products, Band-Aids, coffee, on and on and on, 450 plus products? Why would you not take advantage of buying them online, having them shipped to your door, and knowing that the profits are going to a family-owned company that supports pro-police causes and pro-life causes? You can do all that by shopping online at patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Now, it's not really as easy as I make it sound. When you go to patriotswitch.com/Bruce, you leave your name and information. I reach out and I explain to you how you become a member of the club so that you can get your merchandise at a 35 to 50% discount. Can you pay full price? Sure, you can, but why would you? Because memberships are only $19 annually and sometimes discounted to $1. This is a passion of mine because the products are awesome. We've been members for 4 years. I want to share the best that I have in my family's life with you like I would a great restaurant or a great movie. So go to patriotswitch.com/Bruce and leave me your information today. We will have Gary Click, an Ohio representative who sponsored the SAFE Act in tandem with Jenna Powell, which was upheld yesterday in Franklin County Common Pleas Court and is now the law of the land in the state of Ohio. We'll have Gary on the program at 12:05. I want to find out if he thinks this is the end of it. ACLU is going to file an appeal, but they already got a stay, an injunction from the worst judge in Franklin County, Michael Holbrook. If the worst judge, the wokest judge in Franklin County Common Pleas Court, won't give the ACLU what it wants on this, then I tend to think they don't have a leg to stand on legally, but there is no shortage of wacko, nutso judges in Central Ohio at all levels: juvenile court, Franklin County Common Pleas Court, U.S. District Court. Look up Algernon Marbley sometime. Oh, now, when I have Gary on, I'm going to ask him if I can play what will be a heavily edited voicemail that he shared with me from someone who, let's just say, is not pleased with the law being upheld. I say heavily edited, not because I'm shortening it, but because I'm engaging in cleanup on aisle 5, because the profanity in it is off the chart. Why would I play it then? Well, I can bleep all that out. But what I want you to hear, if Gary will give me permissions, his property, not mine, is for you to hear the demonic nature of the protest, so you can get a full picture of who the people are who embrace these policies that would, in many states, like Minnesota, where vice presidential running mate of Kamala Harris, Governor Tim Walz, signed into law by executive order, not by normal legislative process where a majority of Minnesota legislators said, hey, you know what I think we ought to do? We ought to make our state a sanctuary state for transgender parents. And if they want to bring their kids here and they want to cut their genitals off and they want to keep doctors just handing out puberty blockers and Planned Parenthood counselors handing out puberty blockers like Pez dispensers, then we'll pass a law to do that. And then Tim Walz signed that law. It's not how it happened in Minnesota. Tim Walz, Mr. Democracy, Mr. Protecting Democracy, Mr. The Electoral College does not seem democratic to me, enacted by executive order the fact that you can bring your kid to Minnesota and they'll just happily lop off whatever genitalia they have and you'll be able to go on your way and inflict yourself into a life of misery where you can never experience sexual gratification. You can never have children. You're always tethered to medicine. And you'll eventually come to your senses and experience deep regret. He did that by executive order. He signed in 2020. Tim Walz, Mr. Democracy, signed 109 executive orders. 109 executive orders, most of them related to COVID, where he said yesterday that the law in Minnesota, the unwritten law, how people get along in Minnesota is you mind your own business. I cleaned it up because he's a profane idiot. But he says, you mind your own business. Mr. Mind Your Own Business established a COVID snitch line where people could call and rat out their neighbors for not wearing masks, for going outside, for doing things that Tim Walz said you couldn't do. He's been caught blatantly lying about the fact that he says 80% of Minnesota school children never missed more than 8 days of school during COVID in 2020 and 2021. It's a blatant lie. Blatant, flat out lie. But the most evil thing that Tim Walz did is that he signed into law unlimited access to abortion in 2023. It includes the law in Minnesota, no limitations on when a woman may end the life of her unborn child. No limitations at all. Now, the law says that when babies are born alive after botched abortions, they are supposed to be given medical care to help them to survive, but in at least 2 cases, 2 of the children were allowed to die because the doctors basically wanted to accomplish what the mother wanted to accomplish, which was kill their child. Okay, we didn't get it done the first time. We couldn't suck its brains out. We couldn't dismember it. We couldn't cut it into pieces and suction it out. But they went ahead and did it anyway. Did they face charges? Of course not, because the ends justify the means. This is who Tim Walz is. He's not middle of the road. Here's a question I have. Nancy Pelosi yesterday, see if I can find the cut. Nancy Pelosi was, immediately asked to explain the selection of Tim Walz, and he seems like he's kind of a radical guy. And she got this question on MSNBC, so they really didn't push too hard. But here's what Nancy Pelosi said yesterday, and she was questioned about, a lot of people say, not us, not Nicole Wallace, not Joy Reid, not Lawrence O'Donnell, not Chris Hayes, not anybody, not Jen Psaki, not anybody else who's supposed to be here to ask legitimate questions. But, some people say that Tim Walz is a radical. Tim Walz is, he's from the left wing of the Democratic Party. And Nancy Pelosi answered that. Interesting how she answered it.
Tim Walz, I know very well. He served in the House. To characterize him as left is so unreal. It's just not what the question. He's right down the middle. He's a heartland of America Democrat.
Ah, really? He's a heartland of America Democrat. I'm curious. Why don't Democrats ever say, yeah, he's left wing, and left wing is great? Why don't Democrats ever say, no, the border's not wide open? Actually, no, I got that wrong. Why don't they ever say, no, the border isn't secure. The border is wide open. We want it wide open. It's great that it's wide open. Here's why it's great that it's wide open. Why do they never tell the truth about their policies? Why do they not say, yeah, Tim Walz is left wing. Yeah, he's uber pro-abortion. Yeah, he's uber pro-transgenderism. He's uber keeping secrets from parents about their children. These are great policies. You in America, you in middle America, you people who cling to your guns and to your Bible and to all those antiquated things, you're wrong. Our policies are right. We're going to defend our policies on the merits because they know that their policies are not popular with the American people. So they can't say, yeah, the border's wide open. What's your problem with that? What are you anti-Hispanic? Are you anti-immigration? What's wrong with an open border? They never ask that question because they know that Americans don't want an open border. Americans don't want unchecked abortion. Americans don't want boys and girls locker rooms. And so they deny that these things are happening. Or they deny that their positions on these issues are in fact their position on these issues. And I've said to you since I've had this microphone 4 years ago, if people lie to you, you have to ask why. You have to ask them why they're lying to you. And then you have to ask yourself a question. And the question you should ask yourself is, why am I supporting this? Because no one who has the truth on their side needs to lie.
You'll sleep better knowing you got a great deal on a great mattress because you got it from Mac Mattress Outlet and the discount.
You are a cunt. Cunt. A bastard and a rapscallion bastard. And a rapscallion piece of fucking trash. Scallion piece of trash. You are a subhuman degenerate whose hands will be stained with the blood of the trans children you killed! You are a murderer! Yeah!
rational. Not everybody who gets a call from Beelzebub.
Hi, you subhuman. You retarded. Hi, you subhuman. You retarded monkey piece of. Just wanted to let you know that your anti-trans children healthcare bill is going to kill trans children. Just wanted to let you know that when they commit suicide, you will be the reason they do it. You are and a rapscallion piece of trash. You are a subhuman degenerate whose hands will be stained with the blood of the trans children you killed. You are a murderer. Yeah!
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Contained. Nearly 41,000 acres have burned. Over 6,000 firefighters are enduring hot temperatures.
Sorry, I meant to end the live stream before you had to hear all that nonsense. I don't know if you heard it or not. I had my headphones on. Maybe you didn't. If you did, I apologize. That's the kind of people who are pro-transgender. Quite rational, wouldn't you say? Hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.